the director of football at Paris FC in France, and we've appointed Guti as our first manager at the club. In his first full season leading the team, he managed to achieve promotion to the top division. An unlikely hero, a player we signed, was Anthony Martial. This year, we've got a bit of money to spend. We're going to try and reinforce the team to try and stay in that top division and maybe even challenge a little bit higher than that. Will Guti be able to deliver the goods on the pitch? Will we be able to provide him with the players that he needs? Let's find out in today's video, where we are playing as the director of football in FM24. Come on. Hello, welcome back to the DOF Save, episode number 3 today, and we are starting our second full season in charge at Paris FC. Guti is our manager, and he led us to this position at the end of last season. We watched the title clinching games at the end of this campaign, and then I played the last couple after that, where we got ourselves 80 points from our 34 games. Easy, comprehensive promotion, I think is what you'd call this one. Paris FC are back in the big time with players like Dimitri Payet and some other really strange ones like Paulinho. We did what we usually do best on this game and make some quite eclectic signings, but they did the business. Just 5 draws, 4 losses, 25 wins, and we find ourselves now, if I just go up here, in the big time amongst teams like PSG, of course, and Lyon and Marseille, and these are the teams we're going to have to play against this season. To do so, I will, of course, have to make some transfers and some signings. We were given really good money, and of course, I've made those signings. I'm actually really excited and really happy with the business that I've managed to do. I'm going to show you on here without giving too much away. We are now predicted to finish 10th, way above the other 2 promoted teams, 200 to 1. So I don't think they're thinking it's going to be likely that we win this title. In fact, that is the entire PSG team in the Dream 11 look. You will notice that the one player that you can see on the screen here is Anthony Martial for us. He is still at the club. He was our top goal scorer last time around. Have a look at this for a campaign from Anthony Martial. Signed on a free transfer and scored 26 in 27. Sorry, 27 in 26, I should say. In the league, 31 in all competitions, which was 4 in 3 in the cup alongside that. Some of you doubted him. I know you did. When you saw him signing, you were like, he is going to be rubbish. In fact, one comment, and maybe Tom, if you can find it, put it on the screen right now, and name and shame. They said he was going to be rubbish, but he wasn't. And I'm hoping he's going to continue to not be rubbish, because he's still here, ready for this this season in the top division. I think he still looks like a really good player. Got some interesting, I mean, his cons aren't even that bad. There's the injury proneness, and I have picked up a backup anyway, so that if he does get injured, I'm not too upset with it. He's still only 29. I think he can deliver this year. But let's move on. Let's have a look at the transfers that I have made. Today's video is going to be all about our summer business. Then we're going to play the first game of the season, which is against Reims. Interestingly, by the way, it's Reims who are being led still by Will Still. Will Still is still their manager. Of course, he is of DOF fame in our series from last year's game, of course. Maybe one day we'll appoint him again, but at the moment we're going to play him and hopefully beat him in this save here. Let me show you then who I have signed. Before I show you that, please do subscribe to the channel. I'm going to get the quick plug in right at this point here. If you're enjoying this save, leave a like on all of the videos, because it really helps to push them out to the wider audience. We want more people to come and join us, don't we? And if you are enjoying it and you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel. Then you'll see all of these videos. Turn the bell on as well for notifications, because then you actually see when the videos go live. I do videos on a Tuesday and a Thursday usually, and there's going to be no set day that the DOF comes out on. It depends how other things go, but we might even get 2 videos this week, Tuesday and Thursday. So subscribe to the channel. Let's have a look at those transfers that I've made. Okay, so let's start here then on the transfer screen. We were given, I can't really show you it without showing you who I've signed on here. We were given about £20 million to spend, and then decent wages as well, which is a very healthy amount to go and spend, way more than Paris FC have ever had in their history, I'd say. And that's all down to the way that this database is set up with the players and the people, I should say, the ex-players that we have in charge at the club. Johan Dumont at the very top of that, with the likes of Trezeguet et al. They've given us some decent money to go and spend. Flamini as well, with his billions, as discussed previously on this this series. With that money, and not insane money, we have spent that £20 million on the following. We have spent, well, actually, technically £64 million, but you know me, I've invested in our future. We've used some future installments and some future fees involved here, so that it was 20 million in actual money being spent in this window, and we've raised 2.4 million with players going out of the door. Lots of other players actually to show you in the released column, because there's a lot of wages being freed up by these players going through the exit doors. We just didn't need any of them. They just weren't very good. There was a lot of fodder, to call them, at the club. So I've let them all move on. The main ones on this list, I suppose, are Timotej Klodjak, who said he was going to consider his options and has moved on. I think he's still on a free, though. So those options are very much still open for Timothy, but he didn't want to leave, so I've let him go. And then Dimitri Payet, who has retired. A bit of a shame. He was actually really good for us last year. A signing that shouldn't work, right? On FM, these are the ones that you're always tempted to do, but they never usually work out well. With Dimitri Payet, though, it worked out perfectly because of those set pieces. 20 assists. He was talismanic in our promotion last season, so it will be a miss to see him go. I have considered bringing him back maybe as a coach, and then I looked at his coaching attributes, and I just don't even think it's worth it. Even, I'd love him to have good set pieces, because that would have been a really nice way to bring him back into the fold. But he's got 6 set piece coaching, so we're not going to do that. And just as I talk about this, I know that you want to see the signings. I just want to say I am going through a major staff rebuild as well this summer. I've managed to give us the best coaching staff in the league. I've completely changed it, brought in a load of new names, including people like, Paco Ayestaran, the former Liverpool assistant manager, Valencia assistant manager, John O'Shea, Hossamy. There's a lot of Istanbul type references there for me personally. But yeah, some strange names, but they're doing a great job at looking like the best staff in the league. I know that you're looking at these scouts and thinking that looks horrific. Just bear with me on this one. I've got all of these guys coming in as new scouts, and they're all really, really good luck. They've got 17-16, judging player and potential 16-16. I'm hoping these are going to make us the best scouting team in the league as well. So when they come in, that'll be great. I can't get this to go much higher. I think we got the 3rd best physios and the 3rd best sports scientists. So, and I can't get any more in, and they won't say yes to more. So in terms of staff, we're looking good. These scouts will hopefully improve things too. But I've already done our business. As said before, the other players that I brought in, they're not release players. Let's have a look at some players that came in through the door. First up, and the first player to join, was Malo Gusto, a loan signing from Chelsea. We know who Malo Gusto is. He wasn't playing many games at Chelsea, and they are willing to let him come out. I'm paying £1 million to have him for the season, which I'm hoping is going to be worth it. I think it gives us some real pedigree on that right-hand side. He's not a starter for Chelsea. Had a great time, or was highly rated to get this move to Chelsea. Had a couple of good seasons with Lyon. I'm hoping he does the business for us, because he looks like a good player. It also gives us the opportunity to Almani Toure, who was, I'm showing you all the players here. Almami Toure, who was playing right back last season, can actually play as a centre-back too, so it frees him up to play as a central defender if we want him to, as a little bit of extra depth as well. So there's a bit more thought going into Malo Gusto. He's the first signing. Next up, Andy Diouf. I'm really happy with this one. I think his attributes especially look really good. Even if his rep must be quite low because he was quite cheap. He's coming from Lens. He's a 6'2" defensive type midfielder. He's got not the best tackling, but I really like these physicals. Really good stamina and work rate and natural fitness to try and get up and down in that midfield and be a bit of a player in our engine room. Andy Diouf has come in for, it says 6 million. It definitely wasn't 6 million up front. I think it was like £2 million that I spent on him this particular summer. I've got high hopes that he's going to form a little bit of a partnership with the other man that I brought in the midfield, which I'll skip ahead to, is this guy here, Matheus Diaz. A young Brazilian player, and hopefully you're going to be able to see the theme that I'm trying to go with here. Young players, either young French players, ideally, or just young players from other places around the world, a young Brazilian in this case. Lots of players that have been capped for the youth teams, or the under-21s or under-23s. Matheus Diaz is 23. He's played for the Brazil under-23s, which I think shows he's a good player. 6'2", quite similar to Andy Diouf. The two of them, I think, could form a really big partnership, and I say big because they're both big lads. I like him a lot. I think there's going to be one of those that if he does improve as a player, £2 million invested in him, we could be looking at a player that we could either sell for a lot of money or can go and grow into a really good player for us. Matheus Diaz comes in and he replaces Paulinho, who has exited the club. We've made a profit somehow on the 37-year-old Paulinho, who we signed for 63k, and then after a really good season, or a decent season for us, have sold for 235k. I wasn't expecting to sell him. I was expecting him to become a backup, but he was on quite big weight. I think he's on 25k a week as well. So to get some actual money in for him, bring in a younger model in Mateus Diaz. I'm quite happy with it. And then they're going to be complemented too by Willan Cyprien, who used to be quite highly rated, I think, at one point in his career. Maybe when he was back at Nice. I remember him getting some special cards on FIFA, which is how we all know how good players are, right? Right? Anyway, at one point, I think he was quite good. And the fact that we could get him for free as a backup midfielder, I think he's happy to be a squad player. I think he's a decent option in our midfield. So it's a new look midfield. He is one of them, maybe a backup to the likes of Andy Diouf and Mateus Diaz. I think so far so good. I'll show you what the team looks like afterwards, of course. And we are going to go play a game, or we're going to go and watch a game to see how Guti gets on with his new recruits. Let's move through to a couple of goalkeeper signings, and very happy with these two. Guillaume Rest, who plays for Toulouse in real life, is a superbly highly rated young French goalkeeper. And if we can go and get young French players, I think we're going to be in a good place in this save. He is the under-21s goalie at the moment. He looks good in real life as well. We could sign him for £5 million, which could rise to 5.5. And I think we've paid about £1 million now, the same type of thing I've been doing. And he's happy to be our backup because I've signed two keepers this summer. Alban Lafont was, I think he was either unhappy or he definitely had a release clause of £4.7 million. So he's going to come in and be our new number one. And he's, again, a player that is well established in France as a good French goalkeeper. 26 years old now, hasn't made that first team appearance for the French national team, but maybe we could get him to get one while playing as our number one keeper, hopefully. That did mean that I could go and sell Ivan Filipovic, who was our keeper last season. He's gone to Bristol City for £1 million when no, I think we've replaced him quite nicely. I'm happy with the business that we've done there. Those are our two new goalkeepers, and then there's a whole host of other signings to go through, and I suppose this is the meat of today's video because this is what it's all about as a director of football, isn't it? Trying to build these teams, trying to do that squad building aspect of being the director of football and then handing it all over to the manager, which is going to be Guti for us. Next up, a wonder kid. Another loan signing. Oscar Gluck, who does sound like he should be a character in Willy Wonka, but is actually, in this case, a really good attacking midfielder. I think you've all heard of him, right? You know how good he can become. He's going to take the place of Payet in our team. Hasn't quite got the set pieces. 10 free kicks, 11 corners. But I think does have the playmaking abilities and a load of potential to try and realise as well. I know you probably already know how good he is. We're going to pay £1 million to have him for the season. We could actually sign him permanently for £88 million, but I don't think we're going to do that. He is an Everton player now, having moved there from Salzburg. He's going to be a starter for us, I feel. He's going to play in behind those strikers in this number 10 role. Next up, we have got a couple of defenders. So I did show you that Kolodjiak had left the club, right? So I had to go and replace some of those defenders, having also lost the main man from last season, which was Lenny Yoro. He was the main man in defence last season. I tried and I tried and I tried to get him back on loan. I'll show you here. Look, I've got 5 now. They wouldn't even listen to me at all to try and get him back. I was offering 300 million as an optional fee. I was paying all his wages. They just weren't letting me have him, even if he was, I think he was even loan listed at one point. It wasn't going to happen. So I've gone for a couple or 3 different options in defence. They are the next 3. I did this in stages. Look, you can see actually in the order that these things happened. The next 3 signings I made were all defenders. The most money was spent on Stanley Nsocki. Not somebody I'm too aware of in real life, but I found him, had a look at him and thought, this is our guy. He is a brilliant left-sided defender. And I was looking for a left centre-back at this point. Only 26, and he does have this cap for the under-21s, which is, that's the market I'm looking at. I'm looking for players that haven't quite made it at the French national team, because not that many can, because they've got so many good players. But ones that have been in and around the system, under-21 caps especially. He's only got 1. But I wonder if we can get him some caps in the future. He looks like a real player. Really good pros and cons. Really good attributes in the right places. Great balance and strength. He's got good jumping reach despite being 6 foot, which isn't the tallest for a centre-back. Amazing aggression. Good tackling and positioning and marking. Good heading too. I like him a lot as a centre-back. He is going to be the main one. He signs for £7.5 million. Rising to 9.5. We've spent about 5 maybe as a maximum for coming out of our budget this summer. Stanley Nsocki is going to be partnered by, I think, João Quança. Liverpool's João Quança in real life, who's come onto the scene this season in sensational fashion, and I've been loving it. especially as a Liverpool fan myself. He's actually turned Scottish in this save. He's got 7 caps for them as well, and I'm very happy to have him here. I did bring him in thinking he might be a backup, and then I just looked at his attributes and his profile and his pros and his cons and the fact that he's 6'6" and thought, I think he can start for us. So we're going to put our trust in him. 500k he has cost, and that is it. He had a loan in the Championship last year with Coventry. I'm hoping he can make a step up from there and be a starter in our team. I'm not sure he's quite been reflected how good he is in real life in the game yet. He's always been a bit of an easy non-league signing. I don't know if you've ever signed him in your saves. I've signed him countless times because he's always available if you do like a lower league English save. You can always get him on a free and then he'll be just amazing because he's big and tall and strong, etc. He comes in, and the final one is a bit of a punt. He's a centre-back from Brazil in the same sort of mould as Quanta, actually. 6'6", and a young 20-year-old defender, Brazilian, signed for £2.5 million from Santos. I don't know. He doesn't have the best cons, I suppose, on here, but he has got a bit of potential. Is going to get better. I think these are the types of things we might need to do for this save. Take a bit of a punt on young players that we can get in for cheap and see if they develop and see where they can take us as a team, because we can't attract the best players, at least not yet anyway. So he comes in as our third choice one on there, and then we do still have a few of the players from last year as well. If I show you in the squad here, in terms of backup defenders, we do still have Chergui, who was one of our starters last season, played a lot of games for us in that promotion campaign last year. So 4 good centre-backs, and as I mentioned before, Toure can play as a centre-back too if we need him to, as well as being the backup at right-back. And then finally through to some wingers. Afonso Moreira is back again on another loan. He was here last year, played plenty of games, and is very cheap to bring in on loan, and is another one of those wonder kid type of players. So he's going to be a backup winger. And then Lauren, who I know develops quite nicely in the game, and I wanted to be involved in his career in some way. He was also a really cheap loan. £1 million might seem like a lot there, but I think that's only if he doesn't play. And if he does play, then he's actually going to be really quite cheap. It's going to be 5 million if we wanted to sign him permanently next summer, which I think it puts us in a good position. We might be able to get a really good player with lots of potential if he does the business for us this year, which I'm hoping he can. And then finally, after we've looked at Diaz and Cyprian, I have spent big. We had money left over, and I still didn't have a backup striker to Anthony Martial. So I went big and managed to sign Junior Krupi, who I wasn't expecting to be at the club anymore. I've managed to sign him for £24 million. And again, it's not 24 million. It could go to 36, and it's about £7 million being spent this summer. The rest of that is going to be paid off in the future seasons, where we're banking on our own success. If he develops, if we do well, it will be a bargain. If we struggle, it may well be a mistake. I think that is kind of the order of the day, though. You have to, I think it's an informed risk, I'm going to say, for Junior Krupi. We know he's got huge potential. We know that he can do the business because he scored goals for us last year as the backup for Martial. He's only 19. As Martial gets older, does Krupi become the first choice striker? Do we try and build him into the team? And is this our future that we're looking at here? Junior Krupi can also play in behind the striker too if we wanted to rotate, or if Guti wanted to rotate. That's been my squad building, as well as some other sales here, just to show you quickly. We have sold Pages and Bar and Caddy on a free. Morid didn't want to do this one. Does look like he's got a bit of potential. He was one of our new gen players in through our intake, which wasn't amazing. Couple of good players in our intake. Nothing that I really need to be showing you. This guy, though, got a bid that was for 325k, 400k after they've paid it for the whole thing. I just thought he's got way too many really low attributes. And I know he's only 16, but I thought we'll take the money now. It might be a mistake, but not something you ever really want to do, is it? Sell young players with good potential. But I thought we'd take the money. Lamine Gay also. Lakembila has also gone. That is our summer business. Let me show you what it looks like on the pitch, and then we'll go and play a game, or watch Guti play a game, I should say, as we play our first game of this season. Let me know what you think of all of this business in the comments down below. As I say, this is kind of the main thing with these saves, isn't it? The squad building aspect, and then, of course, trying to make sure we have the right manager in charge. I think we've set Guti up quite nicely. We are predicted, as I say, to finish about 10th in the league, about mid-table, right? 200 to 1 was the prediction. Yeah, 10th in the league out of 18. If we do get around 10th, I think it will be a good season. So let's have a look at how they line up. I've put them into this 4-2-3-1 Gegenpress, which, by the way, is not what Guti uses in game. This is purely to show you what it might look like, and with the gegenpress setup, which we know is his style here, Guti, and he will change all of these roles. This is purely to show you how I think he might set them up, but we'll see that it probably won't even be these players when we go into the game. Lafont as the keeper, Gusto and Utara as the wing-backs, and Soki and Quansah, Diaz and Juve as our deep-lying midfielders, and then Gluck, Cabal, and Jalrego, who is still here from last year, and Martial as the striker. Could easily be someone like Lauren come in on this side. It could easily be someone like Marshall Rutty in at right back, or Krupi come in as the number 10 and you play Gluck out wide somewhere. There's a lot of different options here, but this is the squad. I think it's a really good PFC team now, a team that can definitely go and finish mid-table. It starts at home to Rants in our first game. I guess I'll go and get Watching Man back from his holiday, and I'll see you on the field. Okay, then, here we go. I am at the hands of Watching Man, ready to go and attend this match then. Let's go and find out if Guti can get off to a winning start back in the top division. I hope so. With it being a home game, I'm also very intrigued to see what this first starting 11 is. A lot of new players in. We don't usually pay too much attention to the way that it's set up on here, because sometimes it's very wrong for Watching Man. But let's see. It is Lafont in goal. Okay, Chergui in midfield is an interesting one. That is the proper way that it is actually set up. We'll have a look at it in more detail afterwards. Some interesting calls in there, actually. Chergui starting ahead of the young Brazilian that I've brought in that midfield spot, as well as a few other ones. This is the 11 then. Lafont in goal, expected. Utara and Gusto as the fullbacks, expected. And Soki and Quansah is expected. Quansah getting the nod ahead of Ger, which is maybe something to notice. Chergui as well could have been a centre back in this 11, but has been always going to start in midfield alongside Andy Juve. That means there is no Mateus Diaz. It also means that there is no space in the starting lineup for Marshall Rutty or Lauren. It's going to be Cabal, Gluck, Rego, and then Martial. It is Martial over the new signing Krupi as well. I say new signing, Krupi was here last year anyway, but it is this 4-2-3-1. The last time we did watch some live comms, he did lose the first one, didn't he? Let's see how he can do in this one. We have our first highlight of the game. It's Quansah heading away for Cabal, who was really good from this right-hand side last year. Here's Chergui, who I did suggest maybe wasn't going to start. He's had the first shot of the game. It's a good save, actually. It was a good effort. We're going to get a corner. First two highlights then going our way. Jalrego in towards Soki, who is gone out for a throw. His follow-up shot there has gone so far wide, it's gone for a throw, and that was a really good chance. I thought he was just going to pop in the rebound. We have been absolutely all over them in the first 15 or so minutes here. 10 shots at goal, 0 for them. We're yet to break the deadlock, but we look completely dominant. Here's Quansah. Lovely ball out wide to Gusto, to Martial! Anthony Martial in front of goal. Pops it into the back of the net. We lead. He's going to be able to do it, hopefully, then, in the top division. And again, that person who left that comment, who said he was going to be rubbish, I'll just let you watch this highlight again as he pops it in. We do finally break that deadlock. I mean, look how many shots we've had. 11 shots to their 0. An XG of 1.57. There is 0.02, which is, I mean, one shot that was off target. Completely dominant from us. I'd quite like it if we could score some more. Where are we in the league table there? Into the top half? That'd be nice to see, wouldn't it? Goal kick from them, headed away by Nsoki, who looks dominant at the back for us. Cabal, tackled by Guga, but we're going to get it back. Cabal again, goes for it. Good save. Actually held as well by the goalkeeper there. It looks maybe a bit like a camera save, that one. Booted long for them. Is this highlight going to end there? They got Wout Weghorst leading the line. Will Still's Rants team being led from the front by Wout Weghorst. Oscar Gluck over to Martial's, put it wide. I think it was offside. It's a very weird highlight, actually. It was offside, though. Half an hour just gone. As we approach the halfway point, it has been pretty much one-way traffic. 16 shots, 18 shots for us now. We've got a free kick. This is where Payet last year might have threatened the goalkeeper. Cabal goes for it this year. Actually, a really good effort. Good save. It's going to be a corner. And yes, I'm saying Payet, all right? Somebody did bring this one up. My French pronunciations. Thank you to, I've forgotten your name. I'm very sorry for that. But someone left me a really nice long message correcting me on all of the French pronunciations, but in a way that was actually nice to read, and it was genuinely insightful. So I do appreciate that. I'll try my best. You know that some of these French pronunciations aren't going to be perfect. Payet, though, I'm going to stand by it. in England, he was Dimitri Payet. He wasn't Payet, even though obviously it should be Payet. All right, I'm going to just address that one now. Second half, any changes from us? Nothing so far. We are only 1-0 up. Just look how many shots we've had. 25 shots on goal. It is only 1-0. Do we need some fresh legs in there, Guti? Maybe get one of these players that are booked. They've actually got a corner now. Is this going to be their first shot they've scored? Their first shot on target. It's typical. It's typical. It's his first ever goal for Rance as well. Of course, it's so typical. It's so Football Manager. You wouldn't believe it. In front of goal. I think it hits him and goes in. There's a header from Weghorst. I think it hits the guy on the line and goes in to score his first ever goal for the club with their first shot on target after we've had 25 shots. Yep, I've been here before. Can we go and get ourselves the lead back straight away, though? That'd be nice. Jalrego, Utara is going to get there and get the cross in, and that's wide. That was a corner. Jalrego with the chance. It's going to be a corner to us, though. It would be a real disappointment not to win this game from how dominant we have been. Headed away. Cabal can get it back in there. No highlight. 28 shots. 2 on target from them now. That XG from that shot, actually, because it was on the line, or that where it hit him on the line, they've actually got a pretty big XG. There's only 15 to play. Have we made changes? We have. Martial's gone wide. I did wonder if we might see this. Krupi is on as the striker, and Martial has gone to play as a winger or an inside forward on this side. Just to note as well and show you, look, they are changing, or he is changing the roles on here. These are not the ones that I had in that Gegenpress before. It's 2 DMs and 2 inside forwards with an advanced forward and an attacking midfielder. Look, quite actually symmetrical, which is not usually what the assistant managers go for. Chance here, perhaps. Cabal, can he shoot? He can. We do have the lead again, and we are able to get ourselves back in front. There's about 10 minutes to play, and this one's a little bit of a relief. Krupi's corner was headed away. Cabal gets it down, good first touch, and then drills it. Slight deflection? I don't think so, possibly. It's in anyway. Keeper couldn't keep it out. And the dominance has finally paid. We might even get a third here. Krupi didn't realise he was going to be on set pieces, but he's making stuff happen. Cabal again, the same thing from the other side. It's almost a carbon copy, maybe a reverse, a mirror image of the first goal or our second in this game. Cabal has done it again. It's another corner whipped in, headed away by the defender, picked up by Cabal with a good first touch, and then drilled in with the second. It's a perfect mirror image. Very odd. But it's now 3-1, and that should mean that we're going to get ourselves the 3 points and get our life in the top division off to a perfect start. We're into the top 4 with the first win here. Completely dominant, even if we did let them equalise, or even if we let them score another goal here. Oh, Lauren's on look as well. Look, be nice to get another one. Martial's in behind. Good tackle. Is he going to go pick that ball up? No, he's not. Nakamura is going to go and get it. Another goal, a 4th goal right before the end. Or maybe even to concede and make it a little bit nervy. Utara's got that. I don't know what he's appealing for with his hand up. Doesn't matter right now, though. Here's Toure. That's interesting. Almami Toure is playing centre-back. Chergui's still on. He's going to use this team in a little bit of a different way that maybe I was planning for, but that's okay. Using the players we've brought in. It's going to be another goal. It's a debut goal for Mateus Diaz. Didn't start the game from this defensive midfield spot, but off the bench and drilling home on his debut. Now, that is quite a nice little thing to see. Martial from this left-hand side causing problems. It was into the left-back Utara. I think this is a shot. It is. It's deflected, and then a lovely little... Gets his foot nice and high for the volley. Good technique. It's going to be 4-1. It might even be better than that. It might even... If we get 5 here, this would be a little bit of a shock, actually. I didn't expect us to be this dominant. The amount of shots we've had, I know we've built a good team, but this is outrageously dominant. We're going to get another one. Krupi on his second debut. His first game since signing permanently. We've won 5-1. Go on, Guti. I feel like we need to get a Guti appreciation post in the comments down below. I'll pin one at the top. If you believe in Guti, get on the In Guti We Trust train. I'll pin it as the comment. 5-1. Guti's boys were on the rise. What a win. What a performance. What a team we might have built here. What a season we might just have in store. I think our business has been good. I hope you guys agree with me. Let me know what you think of everything we've done in the comments down below as well. But that, though, is where we will leave it for today. Next episode, I'm going to go maybe until January, maybe until the end of the season. I like to move these saves on quite quickly. I will see you, though, when we've gone and played a load more games as Paris FC DOF. Hopefully you've enjoyed it today. If you have, subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, but most importantly, have a lovely, lovely rest of your day. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.